So I have a guy coming up next who I think we're going to be talking about a couple times. I think you guys both have him on your list too, but I have running back Trey Sermon out of Ohio State. He was productive in limited work at Oklahoma in his first 3 years at Oklahoma before he transferred to Ohio State and ran for 7.5 yards per carry. It's a shame we didn't get to see him play more because the Big Ten only played 8 games and had all the cancellations, and that was a whole mess in itself. But what we did get to see is we saw him play in big games in the Big Ten championship when it wasn't looking great for Ohio State. Trey Sermon was the one to pick them up and to get them going again, not Justin Fields. And against Clemson, Trey Sermon just ran all over the field. And then you look at what happened the next game, as soon as he goes out against Alabama, and it looked like you took away the most important player on the field to Ohio State. And it absolutely killed them. And I think that the reason for that is he's not much of a receiver. He adds a little bit, but he's a fantastic pass blocker. He's absolutely insane. 241 snaps in his career. He's only allowed 9 pressures and 1 sack. If you listen to how Justin Fields ever talked about him in interviews, it's like his favorite person in the world. And why wouldn't he be if he's protecting you and keeping your jersey clean? And he's also getting 7.5 yards per carry. This is a guy I don't draft running backs high personally. I'm not someone who would want to take him in the top 50 picks. Even Miles Sanders. I don't know if Miles Sanders has been good enough to warrant taking someone in the second round quite yet. But Trey Sermon is a guy that I think is a second, third round prospect you can possibly get in the 4th or 5th round. After the season, it seemed like I saw him in rankings around the 50s or 60s overall. But if you look now, I don't see him in the top 90 of really any rankings. And I can't really wrap my head around that. Besides missing the receiver aspect, he's a fantastic blocker. He's big enough. He can get short yardage. I don't really see the weakness that's dragging him down to day 3.
Yeah, I'm going to just be honest. He's my number 1. And I'll just piggyback off what you said. You absolutely nailed it. Although I'm not the biggest Ohio State fan, I really like Trey Sermon. And I think he would have amazing value in that 4th round range. Miles Sanders is undoubtedly one of the foundational pieces for Nick Sirianni moving forward. But you look at, after a sophomore campaign where he carried the ball 164 times for 867 yards, an impressive 5.3 yards per carry. You know where he dipped? As a receiver. Miles Sanders took a step backwards after an impressive rookie season. 28 receptions for 197 yards versus 50 for 509 yards and 3 touchdowns as a rookie from Miles Sanders. You look at that Indianapolis Colts team with that Frank Reich, Nick Sirianni offense. It utilized its receivers really well. Jonathan Taylor had over 1,100 yards. Nyheim Hines was kind of that change of pace back for that team. I think Trey Sermon doesn't really provide that passing threat that I think Nick Sirianni wants. However, when we're talking about a 4th or 5th round pick, who the hell cares? I think this guy has tremendous value and could be a legit number 2 running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. I love him. He's my number 1. He's my number 1 on my day 3 list. Any comments on that, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm an Oklahoma guy. I watched Sermon play for 3 years before he transferred, and I think what you guys are saying is right. He's a big, powerful back. He's really great in pass protection. Doesn't offer much as a receiver, but the Eagles need kind of that short yardage back complement to Miles Sanders. And, I don't think I've said this before, Miles Sanders is that guy that has 11 carries for 10 yards and then he rips off a 60-yarder. And you need that guy that can consistently move the ball. Sanders tends to get dropped at the line, and then he rips off a big one. You need somebody that can consistently move the sticks. And an added bonus with Sermon is, he was used in a rotation at OU. He had the shortened season at Ohio State. He doesn't have a season with more than 160 carries under his belt. So he should be fresh, even though he's an older prospect because he played all 4 years in college. He should have a lot of tread left on the tires. I think he'd be a great day 3 pick.